church.
All right. Can y'all, everybody hear us? Should we have some microphones if y'all want to? Okay, we're all good. Okay, and let's see. And so high school was in Jacksonville.
And let me say, that the high school that I went to, James Weldon Johnson was the principal. Lift Every Voice and Sing was written for my high school. Now that was a long time.
So James
I
Weldon,
got it. I want to make that clear.
James Weldon Johnson was your principal.
No. That's why I said I want to make it
I see,
clear.
yeah. So I was going to say you look good. And then what got you to Howard University? Why did you
Well,
choose?
I did not go to undergraduate school at Howard.
Oh, okay. Where'd you go?
I went to Morehouse College.
All right. Uh-oh. Okay, a Morehouse man. Okay. What was your major?
History.
History?
And I minored in Afro-American literature.
I see. Now, where did you meet Joyce?
I met Joyce in New York City at Episcopal Commission for Black Ministries. And it was a recruiting conference. I was a recruiter. And we were there to learn how to go about recruiting young men and young women for ministry in the Episcopal Church.
And you saw Joyce and you recruited her.
No, not at that time.
I was going to say we have we have standards now. That's in ministry and but and of course we remember Joyce with some fondness. I'm so sorry she's not here in body.
Yes, and so am I.
Yes, but you're accompanied by her son, Michael Pleasance, right there.
Yes, greatest stepson in the world.
Greatest stepson, and then your sister, I'm told.
Greatest sister in the world. Now she taught me how to read.
Is that so?
She recruited me for baby school.
Uh-huh.
And I was about 2 or 3. And she gave me one of those little chalk tablets.
Right.
And with other neighborhood kids. And we would go in my father's office and she would teach baby school. So when I got to first grade, I knew how to read.
My gosh. And when I came in the building today, I saw the good deacon there sitting with some young, with some children there over some books. I'm thinking the church is still teaching people how to read. That is wonderful. And so after Morehouse, did you immediately decide to go into the priesthood?
No.
Was there more recruiting to?
No, let me condense the story. When I was a senior in high school, my father was killed in an automobile accident. So, you know how people come, well, let me first say, growing up in a rectory, the last thing I wanted to be was a priest. When my father died, you know, you get sentimental, and people would come up to me, well, are you not going to continue your father's legacy and become a priest? So I went to see my bishop before I went to Morehouse. And he said, well, I tell you what, you go to college, you can study history, you can study philosophy, or you can study English. And after your sophomore year, you come back and we'll talk about you going to seminary when you finish college. Well, to make a long story short, when I got to Morehouse, the last thing on my mind was becoming a priest. It was only during I was struggling with God because I was angry with God because I felt he took my father away from me. And so I was struggling with that. Now, I cannot say that I stopped believing in God because I was angry with God, which means that God existed. So I lost my morals, let me put it that way. And so I was trying to find myself and negotiate. You know, when you go to college, part of the purpose of college is to enable you to construct your own belief system, the faith must become yours. I mean, your parents can teach you at home, but the faith must become yours. And if I had become a priest at that time, or thought about becoming a priest at that time, it was not because I felt that God was calling me. I was trying to please other people. So, it was my junior year, I started thinking about it. And what really made me think about it was I got a term paper back and it was all in red. So I thought maybe that might have been a sign for God to get your act together. So I had to become a Christian again too. And then you start, the faith becomes you. You feel that God is really calling you to do something. Now, at that time, I felt God was calling me to go back to the church because I never went to church that often when I was in college. Now, when I went home, Edna Harris, who was the organist, the altar guild director, and so forth and so on, you were not going to live in her house without going to church. So I did that. And you know, part of the reason, as I said, that I wasn't going to church that often was because I was still dealing with this anger that I had against God. Well, my senior year, a professor said, it's okay for you to be angry with God. God can handle it. You just need to have a conversation with God, tell God how you feel. And so I did that, and that was sort of freeing. So I did not go to seminary. When I graduated from college, I became a bill collector.
That's really good for the priesthood.
So I worked at Sears Roebuck in Atlanta when I was in college in retail. I was in men's furnishings. And so the head of that department, men's furnishings, knew somebody in Jacksonville, and Sears had just opened a warehouse. So first I started off as a bill collector. I didn't like it, but I had to make money. And my mother was not gonna let me stay in the house without a job. So I did that for a year, wanting to get out because, you know, you call people up, you're trying to help them, you know, the dog ate the checkbook and all of that. So I went to human resources. I have to get out, bill collecting. So I got out of bill collecting, thank God. And I moved into distressed merchandise, which is a fancy phrase for junk.
So junk got you into the ministry.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. You know, God works in some mysterious kinds of ways. And I was good at junk. But I decided that I was going to scratch this itch about ministry. Now, this is 1975. Now, you know, in the old days, if you were interested in becoming a priest, your rector would take you to see the bishop. If the bishop liked you, you went to seminary. If the bishop didn't like you, you didn't go to seminary.
Back to John.
Right? Well, this was the beginning of what they call it in the Diocese of Florida was the Bishop's Advisory Commission on the Ministry. So we had to spend a weekend with a psychologist, a college professor, the canon to the ordinary, and there was 3 of us. And we had to sit with them, and you also had to take, of course, a psychological exam. Well, interestingly enough, they lost my exam, so I had to take it over again. So the bishop, you know, I was wondering, because to be honest with you, Bishop Eugene, I was open. If the bishop, the commission said yes, then I would go. If they said no, I would continue doing what I was doing, because the rector at that time, who came in after my father, had me doing things that I really wasn't licensed to do. But that was his way of keeping me connected to the church. So anyway, they said yes, to my surprise.
Yeah, well, there you have it. You know, the Old Testament lesson that we're reading from the book of Genesis, there was Jacob. In Hebrew, that name means deceiver. And so when the man he was wrestling with said, "What is your name?" it was like a confession from Jacob. Yes, I am a deceiver. Now, I'm not going to ask you to make confession.
But I'm not going to make it.
Yeah. But, and then he said, and then Jacob says, "Well, what is your name?" And he says, why do you even need to ask? And Jacob called the place Peniel, because I have seen God face to face. But in that encounter, he was wounded. Have you ever been wounded in your relationship with God?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you've already named one. The wounding of your father passing away in a car accident.
Right.
And so you carried that with you. And in my own life, I've wrestled with God. I can think of 3 different times. One, especially when I had the death of a loved one early on. And for a while, I couldn't even pray. But I would just talk to her and say, while you're talking to the big guy, and she was my conduit. And you know, another time, I didn't get a job that I went in the church. There was a particular job. Everybody said, "Oh, Eugene, that is made for you. That's made for you." And I was counting on it. My wife was counting on it. And then at the last minute, it didn't happen. And I know it seems kind of trite right now, but it's like, God, why did you let me go through all this? So you've been wounded. Mm-hmm. Yes. Any particular moment you want to recall now?
Well, the significant wounding that I had, of course, was my father's death, and I dealt with that. And I would say when my mother died, that was a wounding, because she, more than really my father, as I look back on it, was important for me in terms of becoming a priest. And I just have a brief story I would like to tell. When my father died, I thought that this cross had been buried with him. Mm-hmm. And in my wilderness wandering, my mother stuck with me. Mm. She had faith in me. My mother was a saint. And when I got ordained, not to the diaconate, but when I got ordained to the priesthood, she presented me with this cross.
Why don't you wear that for a while? Let people see this the rest of the service. Wow.
So, when she died, that was a wound. But I had someone with me, that was Joyce, and my family, to help me through that. And I was not angry with God. And over time, that healed, that loss healed. You speak about disappointments getting a job. Well, for 2 years, Joyce and I commuted. She was in Atlanta, and I was in Atlanta, she was here. And I interviewed for 3 places, which shall go unnamed. And every one of them, I didn't get the job. And finally, thanks to, and I found this out later, Father Hayden suggested my name for the ministry at Howard. And he went to Bishop Walker and put my name in front of Bishop Walker. Maria Walker's out here.
Oh, Maria, hello.
And it was Bishop Walker who called me to Washington, which put Joyce and I together after 2 long years. As a matter of fact, when we got together, Eastern Airlines went out of business.
Oh, dear. So after your distinguished ministry at Howard University and here at St. George's, 46 years of vocation, the church has changed a bit. Would you still encourage people to, would you encourage any of these young people to go and seek ordination today?
Yes, I would, with this caveat. I'm not going to, how can I put it, paint an unreal picture of what it means to be a priest in the church today. And the people who I've sent to seminary,
One's right there.
Rosemary, whom I've known for quite a while.
17.
When I came here as a seminarian in 1976. Rosemary, Rob Wright, and Allison St. Louis, in addition to the seminarians I've supervised over the years. And all of them will tell you that I never sugarcoated the ministry. I was straight up. I wanted to know what they were getting into, and they could make the choice on their own. But I told them that it is a fulfilling vocation. But you got to be called to do this. This goes back to what I was saying earlier. I felt called, that God was calling me, but not only God, as you well know, the community has to validate that call. And I could not see myself doing anything else. And so I would commend it to you. The church has changed, but the church has always changed.
Canon Rosemary Duncan, canon at the National Cathedral, did he sugarcoat the ministry?
Oh, no.
That's right. And of course, Maria Walker is here, and then sitting right next to her. You know that young lady sitting next to Maria Walker.
Cheryl.
Oh yeah, Cheryl. Cheryl, you never got the sense that he sugarcoated ministry either. No. Cheryl in the bishop's office has seen them come and go. Well, there's a lot more that could be said, but right now we're going to have to wrap this up. But I have a series of questions here. It's called lightning round. Lightning round. But you have to answer these in less than 5 seconds. Okay? Ready? Set, go. Father Harris, what's your favorite color?
Colors?
Color. Color.
I have colors. Purple and gold.
Purple and gold. Okay. A fun car you'd like to have?
Fun car like that.
Car.
A Lamborghini.
Lamborghini. What was the lowest grade you ever got in school?
Do I have to answer that? I got a D.
You got a D.
Right.
What in?
Spanish appreciation.
Spanish appreciation. Uh-huh.
That was in elementary school.
Oh, I see. If you weren't a priest, what would you have liked to do?
I would have liked to have been an academic professor.
I thought you were going to say customer appreciation. Your favorite cuss word that you'd be embarrassed to say. What does it rhyme with?
Well, I ain't answering that.
Selling it. What's your bank?
Truist.
Truist? What's your password?
That shall never be known.
I'll just get AI to look it up.
Our money.
Bob Marley or Prince?
Bob Marley.
Today's football game, Commanders or Cowboys?
Oh, Commanders.
If the Dallas Cowboys win, should they go to heaven despite their cheating Washington? You don't have to answer that. Who is your favorite bishop of all time?
Favorite bishop of all time? Well, I guess my favorite bishop would be the bishop that sent me to seminary.
Who was he?
Bishop Frank Servant.
Yeah. Well, let's try this again. Who is your favorite African American bishop now serving in the Diocese of Washington?
Now serving in the Diocese of Washington. African American bishop. Just recently.
If you must. Okay, well, guys, that's all we have time for today. But join me now in thanking Father Vincent Powell.